The Modern Warfare 3 beta went offline yesterday, but don't worry, just like an existential crisis, it'll be back tomorrow. In the meantime though, I thought it'd be a good idea to wrangle up some of the most common pieces of feedback and hot takes that I found from my time on Twitter, Reddit, and Mastodon. You guys remember Mastodon, right? And compile it all for the devs in the best way possible by adding them to a political alignment chart that I'm realizing looks vaguely like a Windows icon. On the left side here we have cold. These are for takes that everyone talks about, everyone agrees on. And then on the right side is hot, obviously the opposite. But up here on the vertical axis, we have preach. These are ones that I feel like don't get talked about enough. And down here is STFU, which stands for shut the fuck up. First hot take I have for you is that Estate is better than Rust. I've seen a lot of tweets about people in the pregame lobby voting for Estate over Rust. Personally, I think a big part of it is that we just saw Rust in 2019. I think actually this picture I took is from 2019. Oops. So I think people want to see the new maps, right? But also, something is weird about Estate in this game. It plays so much better than it did. I do think that it is a hot take to say that Estate is better than Rust. I do think that we need to talk about it a little bit more, because anything to fight the tiny map bros. You know what I mean? Next up is player visibility. This was a big one. I don't know how many times I've shot at other friendlies thinking that they were enemies, and I don't know how many times I've not shot at enemies because I thought that they were friendlies. Somehow this is always an issue in betas. I don't know why. And I think that it's something that like everyone kind of fundamentally agrees on. So I think it is a cold take, but it is something that we have to keep talking about because the devs need to fix it. Next up are people that say that the new slide canceling isn't good enough. I guess there's a delay after slide canceling that people want gone. Personally, I think it's a case of you give an inch and they take a mile. I get that it's their playstyle, that they love running around, but there are other playstyles in the game. MW2 was so heavy on the hard scope the corners, pre-fire everything, because you can't strafe that well. You can't jump corners really all that well. And I don't want to see us go too far in the other direction, where if you ADS at all, you're at a disadvantage, right? That said, I do think that it is a cold take. I see so many people talking about it, and it's one that I just want people to shut the hell up about, honestly. I'm gonna put it right around there. $70 DLC. So what gets me about this is if it was a $70 DLC, I think it would be a better situation, to be honest. So like the issue right now is we have a really good foundation. This game feels very nice. My concern when we go into the real game though is that we aren't going to have a ton of content. They haven't talked about gunfight at all. We're not getting a ton of ground war maps. All of the 6v6 maps are remakes, and they're very good remakes, but they are still remakes that I feel are going to get old pretty dang quick. But you know what would have alleviated that issue? If it actually was a $70 DLC and we would still have all of that content that was drip fed out to us over the last year already available on day one. I don't know. I'm worried about that. That said, though, it is a very cold take. I see everyone talking about it, and I just want them to shut the hell up about it. It's going way in the corner over here. Next up are the gun nuts. In current COD, they rename all of the weapons. So it's no longer the AK-47, it's the cast-off. And it's something that I feel like people have stopped talking about a little bit. So I don't know. I think it is a bit more of a... I don't think it's a hot take, because like no one's on the other side of it. I think it is a cold take, but I do think that we need to talk about it a little bit more. Next up is aim assist. There is a large amount of people constantly on my timeline arguing about aim assist. A lot of it is PC players not understanding that this is not as intuitive to control as this, and controller has always had a bit of aim assist to even compete with other controller players. And I hate the discourse. I hate the phrase, oh, well, you need aimbot in order to compete with us PC players or something like that. And it's like, all right, yeah, sure, man. They feel like the same kind of people who make fun of people who drive an automatic transmission. It's like, all right, man, but like, I don't want to play on PC. It comes down to the console wars at the end of the day. You're just arguing PC versus console, but just like in a different wrapper. I don't know. I want them to shut the fuck up about it. Honestly, because there's such like an argument back and forth, I'm gonna put it right on the line, but both sides just need to shut the fuck up about it. Next up is a little bit hard to like quantify. I've put it in just the words MWIII, and that is a little mocking, and I apologize. I don't mean to be as dismissive of it, but it's the kind of people who say that every skin in the store shouldn't be there unless it is a milsim. And I get it. I understand that. And to be honest, I agree. And what especially sucks is the other side will tell the other side to just not buy it. Just like save your money, whatever. But like the fact is, the reason that people don't like it is because when they are playing the game, they're seeing Nicki Minaj run around. They're seeing Crystal Skull Ghost. And in fact, the only person who isn't seeing whatever skin you are is you. But I do think that it is a very cold take. And I do think that people need to chill on that. I don't think we need to like fully shut the fuck up, so I'm only putting it like a quarter of the way down. But like, let's pull back a little bit here. Next up is, I've seen a lot of people saying that we should tune health from 150 now down to 125. And the thing is, with time to kill, I feel like after a game or two, I kind of got used to it. What I'm noticing is I'm running out of ammo a ton. Like, extended mags are very powerful in this game. But also, I think Exclusive Ace had a tweet. He was saying that there is no compromise with 125 health because there is no 4.5 bullet kill, right? It either takes 4 shots or 5. And so he was saying maybe there's some like modification to the rate of fire that they could do, but at that point, I think the ammo thing is going to become more of an issue. Again, I'm not a game dev, so fuck me and my opinions. I don't know shit. I do think that it's a hot take though. I think it's a hot take, and honestly, I think it is something that we need to talk about a little bit. Like we do need to put some community resources into like making sure that we're happy with this. Next up is people that are saying that MW3 already is the #1 game. I've seen people talk about, they've listed out the last 5 or 6 years of COD, and they put Modern Warfare 3 at the top and Modern Warfare 2 at the bottom, even though one game has not even come out yet. We don't know like so much about the game. There are like 15 weapons in the beta. There's gonna be 15 more on launch, plus like 60 coming from the previous game that we don't know how they're going to be balanced. It's entirely possible, especially because weapon balance is like actually kind of an iffy thing with the beta, if they're all going to be OP or they're all going to be underpowered. So to claim already that this game is #1 when something as fundamental as weapon balance, like we just don't know what that's going to be like, I think is just absolutely absurd, and people just need to stop talking about it. I do think though it's a bit of a colder take, because again, I've seen a lot of people talking about this and so many people agree. Now, the thing about the UI, right, that this one is supposed to represent the entire UI and all the discourse around the UI. The UI genuinely is not good. I do think, though, that MW3 has made some strides in that department. It does feel nicer. Just the fact that you go straight into the lobby screen. You don't have a weird stutter step where you're not quite in the lobby until you click it and then you enter a lobby. So I do think that Sledgehammer has done a lot with what they were given. If I had to guess, they weren't given proper authority to just nuke the whole UI in general. So I do think that people still complaining about the UI, it is a bit of a hotter take now. And I do think that they need to just like pull back a little bit. Hi, this is Austin from later. When I'm editing, you can tell because it's dark. I don't know what I'm talking about. We absolutely need to keep talking about the UI. In the time between recording this and editing it, Fortnite apparently has updated their UI to copy this shitty style. Oh my god, we need to keep talking about this. I'm gonna retroactively put it up here, but just know that that's not gonna stick for the rest of the video. Sorry. Next up, everyone who's better than me is hacking. Yeah, there's been a lot of reports about people hacking in the beta, and it's just like, it's wrong. Supposedly the only way to hack in weekend 1 of the beta was to have a PS4 dev kit, which not everyone has. So definitely people have to shut the fuck up about it. I don't know if it's a hot or a cold take though. Like, it's a wrong take. You know what I mean? I'll put it like close to the line. It's still hot. Next up, similar to the Modern Warfare #1 thing, is people that say that Modern Warfare 2 was the worst game ever. I think those people are goddamn delusional. Like, Modern Warfare 2 might not have been the best game, right? It was not 10 out of 10. My biggest issues were the perk system. The movement was a little bit too slow, and it launched without a lot of content. Those are my 3 big issues. But even if you weighed all 3 of those issues evenly, and they were all worth 1 point, that's still a 7 out of 10. It's a cold take for sure, because so many people, you know, claim this thing. And it's another one that they just need to shut the hell up about. Next up is for the lore heads who claim that zombies is canon. And like, look, maybe the devs have come out and said, hey, that zombies is canon to the story. But respectfully, no, they're not. If zombies were canon to the Modern Warfare story, then that means that in that universe, zombies exist. You understand that, right? And if that were the case, then who gives a shit that Shepard lost some ICBMs? Who fucking cares if Valeria escapes from prison? There are interdimensional portals opening up in Urzikstan, and yet we are still concerned about goddamn Hadir? Like, if zombies has to be canon, then the writing has to be shit. Like, that's it. I don't think I'm gonna bubble here, but most of the time when I hear people, like, talk about, like, actually, zombies is canon because the Kaya. Usually those people are like the laughing stock of the thread. So I think it's a hot take, and I think people need to shut up about it. And last but not least, the take to end all takes. You know it. You hate it. It's skill-based matchmaking. I mean, what even is there to say? People have been talking about it for years. Everything to be said about it has been said. That said, though, I don't know if I can classify it as a cold or a hot take because there is an argument on both sides. So I think genuinely, skill-based matchmaking is like the perfect middle. There's a ton of people pulling and tugging on both sides, and I do feel like in you know, as the years have gone on, people have started to shut the fuck up about it. And like, we are kind of in that perfect zone where like, I feel like we are talking about it enough, but it's not gonna change. You know, it's not. So this is the finished alignment chart. It is 100% accurate and 100% scientifically sound. And if anybody out there disagrees, like, I don't know, like, that's cool, man. Whatever.